We're in today with the GTX 550 Ti. This is a 2011 video card with 192 shaders. It's got 1 GB of VRAM GDDR5 running at 981 MHz on the core clock and 1129 MHz on the memory clock with 192 bits bus width, DirectX 11, and today we're gonna pair it up with this E5-2699V4 with 22 cores and 22 threads with hyperthreading disabled. Today I have two of them in SLI, and I think the best thing we can do, jump in a couple of games and see how it holds. Let's go. This is gonna be interesting because in GTA 5 with 1080p with DirectX 10 with normal details, I got nice performance. Let's see how it's running around the city, because the moment I drive around I'm thinking that that amount of VRAM is gonna be filled up, and hopefully I'm gonna keep that FPS. Do understand I got 405 watts consumption. In this case you can see that GTA 5 is gonna use the video card at maximum. I got the maximum code load on the video cards. I put only 50% fan speed on the video card because they are very loud, this 550 Ti's, and you can see it stays around 60 degrees. If it's reaching 70, then I'm gonna put it to 70% fan speed in order to keep the GPUs cool. Until now, if it's around 60, I think this is a good performance on the thermals. But the moment I start driving, I want to see if the VRAM is gonna be filled up. This is gonna be a very interesting test, because if this video card doesn't fill up the VRAM, this is gonna be a very ideal setup for GTA 5 if you're interested on running it with 1080p with normal details. A video card like this is not expensive. If you put two together, you can actually get a nice FPS, and you can see that with this E5 CPU, you can actually get awesome performance. So the VRAM stays around 800, so this doesn't fill up to 2,000-3,000 megabytes of VRAM. Based on the frequency I have today on the core, 981 megahertz, it doesn't utilize the VRAM too much, but in this case it's good, you know. That means it's doing the job, the core of the video card, and plus in SLI it's even more efficient. In this case the GTA 5 is the bedrock when it comes to today's benchmark, because it shows what SLI needs to be. True games needs to be played on an SLI kit like this, and this is one of those games that looks fantastic on maximum details. I got 1080p with this SLI kit, and you can see on maximum details I got 700 megabytes of VRAM utilization. The moment I walk around, you're gonna see that it's gonna reach a higher utilization, and in this case the core is doing a fantastic job. The temperature is good though, because it's only 50% load on the core. There's a lot of VRAM utilization in this case, 350 watts consumption from the whole kit. If the core is not on maximum load, it's good, you know, because it doesn't have a high wattage consumption in this case, and it's a good thing from the SLI kit. But you can see it's reaching 800 megabytes of VRAM, exactly like in GTA 5. But yeah, look at this. The whole thing looks fantastic. It's like it was meant for this type of games. Seriously. I mean, it's a Fermi video card, so you need to put the right games in order to play with an SLI kit like this. But if you're interested in some old games like this, and you say, you know what, I don't want to buy a new computer and invest a lot of money, two video cards like this in SLI can give you some nice tech, you know, to play around, to learn about SLI and actually play some nice old retro games. I mean, this is not a retro game, it's an old game, you know. How much it needs to pass in order to consider it as a retro, you know? It needs to be 20 years, 15 years to be retro. And, you know, is this 5-10 years is not retro? One game that knows how to utilize this SLI properly, it's Warframe. Look at this, it's got a nice performance when it comes to 1080p with low details. I like this because it's one of those games that knows how to use this combination properly. The core is on maximum, so you can see that the temperature it's starting to rise. It goes above 60 degrees, but it's doing a fantastic job overall. Can't complain in Warframe with this 550 Ti in SLI. It's doing the job, so yeah, it is. It is one of those games that actually works really nice. So only 30% load from the CPU, but it's doing a fantastic job even like that. So I'll take this, you know, I will take this as a big win from this computer with this SLI combination. The VRAM doesn't go up. This is a good thing, because if the VRAM went up, I would have been in a lot of problems, because I got only 1 gig of VRAM in this SLI combination, but it's doing a fantastic job. Look at it. The core is fast, and I like it. I like this idea of this 550 Ti in SLI. SLI. I was very skeptical about the setup, you know. I thought that the game will not work, you know. So what I've done, I put 1080p with lowest details in order to see how the performance is, you know. Got 120 FPS. Look at this, 70% load on the GPUs and 700 megabytes of VRAM. So this apparently this setup can take more, you know. So maybe we can put it to DirectX 10 or DirectX 11 and see what happens. The only thing I changed was in the menu from DirectX 9, it was DirectX 11, and now with this option you can see 900 megabytes of VRAM utilized, maximum core load, and 30 FPS on average. This is not okay, seriously. So I think the best thing we can do here in order to play the game and have some quality is maybe put it on DirectX 10. You can actually see that with DirectX 10 on low details you get decent performance. I like it. I like this idea of this kit working like this. I'm on nearly maximum VRAM utilization in this case. I got only 350 watts consumption from the whole computer, and I think I have some problems maybe with some threads that is not making the video card run at maximum. Got like 70-80% load on the GPU side. That is good, you know, it's keeping the video card core, but it's bouncing all the texture in the VRAM, and it's not okay, you know. This was by mistake. I left the resolution on 720p, and you know what? I'm not gonna change it. I'm gonna keep 720p because why, Daniel? Because everything is maxed out. So in this case, you can actually see the core is on maximum load with the SLI kit, and it's nearly 900 megabytes of VRAM utilization. So if I have 75% fan speed, you can actually see the video card is in a good position now with 63 degrees, 78 FPS on average, 7 GB of system RAM utilized, nearly 30% load on the CPU with good temperature on the CPU side, and the MS is nearly flat. I like it. The game looks fantastic on 720p, you understand, with maximum details. I got 410 watts consumption, so the efficiency here with the kit is fantastic. 420 watts for an old video card like this, it's not okay, you know. But the power and the FPS that is giving me, considering the game, considering the age of the video card, I will say it's an awesome delivery with this SLI kit. This is the game that needs to be played on 550 Ti in SLI. In Far Cry with 1080p and high details, you're gonna see that is doing a fantastic job, the kit. Maximum core load in this case, but the VRAM, it's around 900 megabytes in this case. Everything looks good here. There is no problem on scaling. The only thing I want to keep in mind in this case is that I had to put the temperature a little lower because I was getting nearly to 70 degrees, and I didn't like that because this is a Fermi, you know. Even though they are meant to run high, but that high temperature was meant only for the first 2 years you own the card when it was brand new. Now I have to keep them as low as possible because that thermal paste can damage the chip. In this case, I put it to 80% fan speed, and it's doing a fantastic job. Look at this, 60 degrees on the core of the video card. That's actually good. Maximum load on the video card core and 926 megabytes of VRAM. I think the moment I start driving around, you're gonna see that I get more VRAM utilization, but it's around 50 FPS on average, and I don't really like it, you know. I put it on high details to see if I can load up this SLI kit, you know. I usually play with low and medium details in this case, and because it's a 550 Ti, I will put 720p with medium details or something like that. Does it run Crysis on maximum details? Look at the frame time, 900 megabytes of VRAM utilization. It's up and down on the frame time because I think the load on the game, it's stressing the CPU too. In the settings here, I put by mistake 16Q anti-aliasing, and if I put only 2, I think it's going to be much better. So with very high details, maximum quality, you can see that I got 30-40 FPS, maximum load on the video card, 740 megabytes of VRAM utilization. All is good with Crysis because it's doing a fantastic job. You can actually see the quality is there, you know. The FPS, it's around 40 FPS. So yeah, it's possible to play Crysis with this kit. I think adjusting it to medium details 1080p is gonna be even better. But in this case, you can see that yeah, it's almost there. This is one of those games that runs really nice with this SLI kit. You can actually see that on 1080p with maximum details, I got a very nice performance. Even though it's 40 FPS, I will not keep it like this because I wanted to show you how the video card is reacting to maximum load. In this case, you can see that I got like 40-50 FPS with nearly 900 megabytes of VRAM utilization. This is good because the video card is capable of delivering the FPS, and in this this case I can put maybe to medium details or lower the resolution in order to get a constant FPS. In some cases, when you go in close environment without any open space, you're gonna see that you're gonna have playable FPS. In this case, it's good, you know. I like this combination, how the SLI it's handling the game, you know. It's utilizing the resource awesome. In this case, 7.8 gig of system RAM used from the computer in order to deliver this. There are some spikes here because it's nearly to maximum load. 420 watts consumption from the whole computer, and that shows you that this video card and this system is used. Only 30% load on the CPU side with 37 degrees. It's a good performance, but ideal will be to reduce the spikes by lowering the quality or the resolution. That's the only way you can achieve this. Comparing this to something newer like I did previous with two GTX 960s, I think this is that similar alternative. I will recommend two GTX 960s in SLI, but if you don't have the money, I think having two GTX 550 Ti's is an alternative, and I think it's a very good choice. The only downside is that if you want to step up in the games, that 1 gig of VRAM from this video card is gonna be a problem. Even though you don't need that amount of VRAM because it's an SLI, I still think it's good to have that extra memory in the VRAM, you know, just in case you want it. It depends on you, depends on the money, depends on the system, depends on every single aspect of it, but only one thing is important: the games you want to play. If the games that you want to play, the old games you want to play with this type of machine, they can be achieved with one single video card, it's not worth having an SLI kit like this. But if you want to have an SLI, you like that idea of SLI and you want to start but you don't want to get high-end video cards, I think this is a good choice because they are cheap, they don't consume a lot of wattage, and if something happens, you cannot cry after them because they are everywhere, you know. This is like very easy to find. And that's it. I like the whole combination. I like the whole SLI kit. I like this whole idea of SLI, but it all depends on the games you want to play. If you have any suggestion with this SLI kit or with the system, leave a comment and I will see you very soon.